All right, welcome guys. We're in the shop and we're building a hickory pantry cabinet for that giant one I remodeled a few weeks ago. They had this busted ass thing in their kitchen, so they asked me to build a hickory pantry cabinet with 3 drawers and 4 shelves split in half. It's going to be 84 by 28.5 finished with shaker style doors, finished natural in hickory natural. This is a calico hickory, which is a 2-color hickory. It's not the white or the beige. Hickory was kind of expensive at my local hardwood dealer because it's not used as much anymore. So I'm putting this edge banding on, which is going to tie in this rough 3/4 inch plywood and give it a nice edge. And I use that iron because it's heat activated for a machine called a banding machine. So what I do is I cut it the right length. I get my iron on there on hot. You'll see the lights kind of flicker because that's the iron kicking back on. And I heat it up till the glue squeezes out. I can still move it a little bit, it's still manageable. But once I've got the glue squeezing out, nice and hot, really hot, I take a block of wood, smooth it out and press it in. Attach that glue as it cools, like so. Make sure I'm not overhanging over here, I'm a little shy. Move it a little bit over here, a little shy. And then I really want to press it in. I made this block that's a little softer on the top so I can actually really get a real good press. I kind of bend the corner that's heaviest, like the overhang, so that when I go to lock it off, it's not as hard to cut off and it doesn't splinter out. I use this press, this clamp, to hold it upright. So basically, I grab a piece. I've already milled all these down to the right size. These are the shelves, and top, bottom shelf, the middle shelf, and then these will be the adjustable shelves. So once I've got it clamped in, like so, clamp it down, and then I'll cut my edge band. You can see there's glue on the back of this, right? So you want to make sure that you cut a nice length. You're not wasting this. It's kind of expensive. Cut it off. And I'm going to line it up, lay it out the best I can. I have overhang on each side. That way if I need to move it right or left, I have the space. Take my super hot iron. What I do is I set it on there, then I run it kind of all the way across to activate that glue. Alright? And it kind of just helps hold it in place just as I'm heating it up. Now I'm going to go back here, I'm going to count to 5 in my head. Really activate and heat that glue up, have it squeeze out. Move up the iron, another 5 seconds. Move up the iron, another 5 seconds. I'm heating that glue up so freaking hot that it'll form a permanent bond with the plywood, and then I'll have a finished edge on my front shelf. Now that I've got the whole thing about 5-6 seconds each spot, just run back and forth putting pressure on it, and it can move around on you, it can wiggle because the glue's wet. So I just want to make sure it's all lining up right. Nice glue squeeze out. Nice glue squeeze out. Now, I'll make sure it's all lined up where I want it. I'm not off the edge. Then I'll take my block and I'll press it down and I'll attach that glue. On a smooth line, a lot of pressure. And then on my overhang side, I'll kind of break the edge a little bit, just so that when I go to lop it off and clean it up, it's ready to go. There you have it. I'll just make sure everything's lined up. Make sure I got good glue squeeze out. Right here in this center part, it's not as tight as I want it to be, so I'm just going to reheat the glue a little bit. Like so. Pull it forward. And one more Really hard pressure. And that's how you edge band plywood. Pretty fun, pretty simple, pretty easy. Huh. Anyone have any questions about that? Nope. You guys got any questions or anything? Nope. All right, let's keep going then. Another one. Maybe a comment if you're a woodworker and you have trouble with edge banding or anything. I'll give you a few tips. This stuff is not cheap. And like I said, it has a heat activated side. So this side has glue on it. You can see that. This side is the veneer, the wood, right? So when I heat that up, it'll permanently attach to the plywood. The plywood edge, again, is just, you know, rippled edges. I don't want to see that. I want to see the really nice, cleaned out, you know, cleaned out edge. So again, you'll see the lights flicker a little bit because this iron's kind of old, so when it charges back up, it'll like click the lights. I'll lay it out. There's no prep on the plywood side because it's just a really sharp, clean cut. And then what I like to do again is just get a little heat on it, and then I like to run heat all the way across it just one time, just to kind of warm it up, excuse me, as I get ready to set it. Then I'll come back and start my 5 seconds on each side. We're building a cabinet, like I said, for a big job we did a few weeks ago. This is going to be a hickory pantry cabinet out of calico hickory with shaker style doors, finished in a natural hickory stain, which is basically just a conditioner and then a stain, a light natural stain, and then a sealer. So I'm going to count to 5 on each one of these. Really heat that glue up a lot. Come back. And this will be a permanent attachment. This will never come off if you do it correctly. The banding they sell at Home Depot is garbage. It's like the cheapest glue. So get this stuff at your local hardwood place because it's just way better. It's actually built for a banding machine, which does this without the iron and just trims the edges and cleans it up. I used to use one of those when I worked in a cabinet shop a long time ago. And once I kind of I want to see the glue kind of squeeze out because I know it's really hot. Once I get it squeezing out like so, I grab my homemade little block and I run it really smoothly along there, pressing down, squeezing that glue out, and really getting a good attachment with my banding. See, I just tip that edge off. And then I kind of hold it at an angle for the edges so that when I trim those off, because I'm overhanging it just a little bit, when I trim those off, it's already kind of got like a little break. You can see this one broke there. And you can see the glue squeeze out. Let me show you that. That is the glue squeeze out. You see that down there? Right there. It's squeezing out all over the place. So, anyway, that's what my project for the shop today is. Getting this cabinet, all of these bandings done, running a dado stack in the back for the back of the cabinet and trying to get that whole box built. And then I'll move to drawers and doors. I already did the stiles and rails. They're already pre-cut. I'll run those through a Jet 1632 sander. Man, it will save so much time in sanding those. So it's a fun little cabinet. Cabinets are expensive. The wood's expensive. time it takes to make it is expensive. The skills it takes to make it is expensive, but you can figure it out. It's not hard. Not rocket science. Shop's a little hot. You can tell how much I'm sweating. I do have a little AC in here. It's pretty hot in Texas right now. It stays hot until October, which is just a part of it. Normally it's 100 degrees, 95 degrees in October, which is wild. It looks like we got a few comments. Crafted by Ray. Heck yeah, man. You're awesome. I don't know if you guys have noticed that my channel is a woodworking based channel, and I've started to write this rock and roll Southern rock record this last year. So it's kind of morphed into like a little bit of music and a little bit of woodworking. You know, this social media, you know, Bookface and Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff, I don't have any of that. I find it very foolish. So this YouTube is kind of like the way that I show what things I like to do. So it's not a really heavy driven specific channel, even though what I really like to do is woodworking, which is, you know, 95% of what is on this channel. But there's also camping stuff. I love to camp, and you know, there's also remodeling stuff, which I do a lot of really big remodels. There's tile and all kinds of stuff on here, home improvement projects. But the music thing has kind of popped up in the last year because I'm really enjoying playing music again, and I'm really enjoying writing music again. So, you know, if you like things like that, you want to follow along, great. But I don't see the point in having a Twitter, a Facebook, or Bookface, and Instagram. All of these things you have to maintain and manage. This is just who I am. This is my channel. And, you know, a long time ago when I started YouTube, someone told me, hey, if it's not fun, don't do it. It's not worth doing all this stuff if you're not having a good time. There's a lot of other things you could be doing and having a good time at than struggling with something you don't like. So I really enjoy it. But again, it's kind of morphed into more of this channel is more just about my interests and less about a specific thing. Again, although my interests are woodworking and CNC and lasers and that kind of stuff. A lot of arm pressure to get this to stay. It's good, feels good. Now we've got some really big ones to do. I'm not sure if we can do them in this thing set up. These guys are really big. Let's see if we can do them. It's going to be outer wall. So this one will be a little different because it's really long. So I'll move you guys back a little bit. I've only got the one point in the center where it's like my thing, so I'm going to have to hold the bottom and the iron at the same time, but same concept. I'll run out my banding, add a little bit. I don't want to waste this too much. This side that I'm at is my inside edge. So I'm going to run this up. I do have a problem sometimes with this cord on this iron. We'll clip the edge of this. And I'm just going to start it going. These long ones are a little different. Just kind of want to get it loosely attached with a heated glue, just so it's not swirling around on me too much. Not going to be able to control the inside edge as much with this one because it's so long. It'll dry by the time I get from there to here. It'll dry a little bit. But when I get it kind of where I want it, like that, Put it down like that. Then I'll come back and start working it off that edge. But way over here, then I'm going to put pressure on it. 5-second thing. On these longer ones, you really got to make sure you heat up every inch of it. You want to see that glue on the banding squeeze out. I'll get about halfway, and then I'll press it down really hard with the block. I was on TikTok years ago, and I had a fun time doing that. I got 2,500 subscribers in about a month, which I only had 800 on YouTube in about 3 years, 2.5 years. So TikTok was really fat and like that, but TikTok kind of took over my life. I was watching it more than I was creating, so I got off of TikTok so that I would spend more time trying to create. Honestly, I'd go in my shop and be like, all right, I'm gonna make some YouTube videos, and then I'd watch TikTok for 30 minutes and be like, oh wait, what happened? And I'm like, okay, get down on it and make some YouTube videos, and I'd go out and watch TikTok. It was like an addiction. It was wild. It was like crack. So I think TikTok's cool for whatever you use it for. I think it's great for music creators and all kind of creators, but for me it was a real distraction. So YouTube is my only form of social media. And I have clients out here that I work at their houses, and the other day someone was like, oh, do you have a website for all of the cabinets that you build and all the things that you do? And I was like, no, I don't want to have time to manage a website. I just want to create, engineer stuff, build stuff. I like to problem solve. So all of that stuff, I don't want to pay someone to manage all of that. It doesn't really make sense for me to do that, or to think that. And I don't really have those skills, honestly. I'm not a really computer savvy guy. I didn't grow up using computers very much. I bought my very first computer in 2020 for the CNC machine to learn how to design CAD and CAM. Never owned a computer before that, and I was, 40 years old? And learning how to use it, and I used Mac, and it was so intuitive, and I really liked it, and I learned how to, learn Fusion 360 a little bit, and I learned easel, and XYZ axis and stuff like that. But like designing a website and trying to profit off of every twist and turn is kind of not my MO. Once we get this banding on, cleaned up and sanded, we're going to run a dado stack on the table saw on all the pieces that are built for the cabinet, lay out our 1/4 inch back, and try to assemble that today. Try to have a box built for this pantry cabinet. And then once the box is built, we'll move to drawers, doors, finish, stain, and installation. Alright, got that kind of heated up enough as I want. Find my block. So now I'm starting out here. Curious to see what you guys are doing today. It's Friday. I'm curious to see what you guys are making and doing, and what you're hanging out, what you're doing on a Friday morning. Man, this stuff is so good. So much better than the crack. Sometimes it's a little too hot in here. The sweat will drip on the wood and leave watermarks, and won't sand them all the way out. And I only see those when I stain it. I want to come back and make sure nothing's lifting up on this one because it's so long. Luckily, if it does lift up on me, I can always just reactivate the glue and reattach it. All right. This is going to be my outside towards the refrigerator of the pantry, so I want to make sure that this is nice and beautiful. That one, the outside was a little beat up. I don't care because that's going against the wall. That's my outside edge. I got an X on the front of my cut edge to make sure I'm reminding myself that that's the really super clean edge. Same concept. Lay out how long and far I need. This is a small little wood shop, and we like to try to do a lot of weird different things. Like, I was telling my wife a few months ago, I was like, man, could you imagine we had to wake up every day, go to a place and sit in a box for 8 hours, 9 to 5, and then when you're done, you drive home, and you had to do that 5 days a week. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do it. And then she said, well, I do that. And I was like, holy shit. So, you can get out and make your life what you want to make it. It's up to you. No one else's choice. No one's going to do it for you. And if you love it and you're passionate about it and you're willing to learn and you're willing to fail. I'm not trying to give like guru advice or anything. That's pretty stupid of me to think that I would have any intelligence or wisdom in that form, but I'm just telling you what I do. I just try to make it what I want to make it. Try to really help people. Help as many people as I can every day. It's all about intentions. Anyway, someone leave me a comment about what they do and how they like it. You know what I mean? Everyone does different things. I remember as a kid in my elementary school or whatever, where it's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Fireman, policeman, race car driver. And then at some point, everyone wanted to be a marine biologist. And I think that was because like Free Willy had come out, or I don't know what was happening at the time, but to be a marine biologist isn't that glamorous. I mean, it's sure you're around the ocean animals, but if you loved it, then you would do it. I don't want to do that. I really respect the people that do. I just wonder where that came from. I didn't want to be a woodworker when I was a kid. In fact, I worked at a cabinet shop for 4 years, and I hated it. And that's just a part of being 20 years old, is you think you should be wild and free. But now, I absolutely love it. There's something so calm and peaceful to it, something so relaxing. The attention to detail of being that close to it. Producing something, making something that's going to last long after I'm dead. That's one of my favorite parts. But once I've got this 30% kind of really heated up, make sure I got this squeezed out everywhere. I'm going to put a lot of pressure with my block. I'm going to hold my hand underneath this and really try to seat this section so it won't come up, won't peel off. Alright. Now I'll go to the next section. Let's hop here. Longer runs, again, I just want to take them in thirds. I don't want to try to do the whole thing at one time, because by the time I get down to here, that will have cooled and set. It's just better to work in sections on long runs. And I can see the heat-activated glue pushing out. Got a nice adhesion there. I did this last section. I'm going to cut this overhang off. I'll be able to reuse some of these pieces. This stuff's expensive. And remember, the stuff you get at Home Depot is freaking garbage. So go to your hardwood. The one in Austin that I really, really like is called Brazos Forest Products. The guys there are so knowledgeable and so freaking smart and just so helpful and nice. And they're running millions of dollars of wood, hardwoods, plywoods, sheet goods, millions of dollars a year out of that place. And I think it's like 3 or 4 guys that run the front. There's a bunch of guys in the back I don't see, but I love going there and they give me a heck of a deal. And then I think they're giving me a deal, but that's just their prices. So Brazos Forest Products in Austin. Dakota Hardwoods over in kind of southwest, southeast Austin. They're all right. I mean, I've never had a great time over there. It's kind of like more of a big person one. And Brazos is too. Brazos is a big company. They do a lot of big stuff, but man, they sure have the time for me to make me feel good and help me answer my questions. All right. Let's get a lot of pressure on this. I'll come back and make sure I'm lined up, not overhanging. Everything's on and attached really nicely. All right, now I can unplug my iron, let it cool down. I went ahead and banded all that. It took about, how long is this video going? 30, 40 minutes. Let's see. Probably should run it like this. Oh, sweet, Crafted by Ray is awesome, man. You guys are great, man. That was super fun. And stick around as we build this cabinet. I'll show you what the heck is it gonna turn out like. Thanks a lot.